Hello, Sim here. So COD, it should be action-packed. Your bullets will connect with your enemy and you shall have fun. Oh yes. And it gives you the opportunity to educate some sniper wannabes who are completely clueless about their surroundings while they're focusing hard scoping. I mean, how dare they hard scope? They should be quick scoping in this game. But it emphasizes the point. You should be having fun. Now, any of you who played the Infinite Warfare beta probably, didn't have so much fun. Now, I had a lot less fun on the PlayStation 4 compared to the Xbox. And it was like I was trying to figure out what the heck the difference was between the two. And anybody who follows me on Twitter already knows the answer. The answer is the network infrastructure of that platform and how many dedicated servers they got online and how saturated they are. On the PlayStation 4, they were completely oversaturated and you got lag like nobody's business. Xbox, until it went from a closed beta to an open beta, we didn't have an issue. It was just playing really well. The majority of the time, not 100% of the time, it was a beta. But that's what it was, and it emphasized to me that there was like what appears, and I can only say this is what appears to me, to be two different kinds of lag compensation algorithms going on. One that's optimized for dedicated servers, and the other one that feels like it's 10 years old and is designed for people who have extremely slow internet, and it just punishes those with high speed internets, i.e. the stuff that we have today, whether it be true fiber or VDSL, etc. Right. Now, I also wanted to talk about importance of having an open NAT, and what you really need is for it to be open. People will have moderate or strict and go, well, I can still play the game. It doesn't appear to affect me. I can still play the game. But actually, it causes lag for you. And that's not good, especially in a first-person shooter. Strict, of course, is the worst. And it means if you're trying to party up with friends, you can only party up with a party host leader who has an open NAT. You won't be able to connect to anybody who's got a moderate NAT. That's what it means. So you really want it to be open. So basically you should have UPnP enabled, or if your router doesn't have that, which most routers do, but sometimes you have to resort to port forwarding. But the PlayStation 4 is a bit twitchy and stuff, so I have got a little guide that I just published the other day that's helped people get their PS4 to behave itself and get that open NAT back. Well, a nice little final kill count there. So on that note, let's move over to the router. So we're over on the NetDoomer, and the video footage that you've seen or been watching for the past couple of minutes or so, I had it set around 5% download and 6% up. I was just dragging sliders all over the place trying to figure out, can I just get this game to play properly? Can my bullets connect? Now, when you're doing this on the NetDoomer, you'll see you get multiple dialogues, and I can still slide it even though it's in the background. And this is what you have to do at times to set it, because you're trying to set it below 10%. Now, if you haven't watched my buffer bloat video, a little card will pop up on the screen. I do recommend watching that too, so you get an idea of what I'm going to be talking about later on. Now, my buffer bloat video that I previously put up was really designed around dedicated servers, because that's been validated now by, Infinite Warfare beta, etc, etc. So now if I run the DSLR reports and do the speed test, you'll see that I've got on that 3.75 megs coming down and barely a meg going up. But watch that buffer bloat. Whoa, that's really high. See, it won't go red. There it goes red again. So that's sort of bad. So it's not all just about speed. It is, and it isn't for the old lag compensation algorithm that's 10 years old. But you want to minimize your buffer bloat too. When you look at the results, you really don't want to be in red. That's really bad, just like a second lag there, man. That's not good, so you don't want that. Now, those of you who've been around with me for some time will know that my old Call of Duty lag compensation thing, guys, had a 2-to-1 ratio. If I remember rightly, back in those days, it was 746k versus 384. It was a 2-to-1. And you'll see here that I'm going to have a 3 meg down and a 1.5 up, and anybody who can do maths knows that I got an 18 meg upload and 20% of 18 is not 1.5. But hey, it's just the behavior it is on the NetDoom. You just slide it around until get 3 and 1.5, but you want to slide that percentage bar around because what you're looking for is an optimal buffer bloat. You want an A+ in the ideal world. So I've got 3-ish megs down, 1.5-ish megs up, but I got a buffer bloat of A+ that I'm circling, yeah? You scrolly wolly down, look at the results and go, hey, that looks pretty good. 17 milliseconds worst, and 13 or 15 because I'm trying to squint on a small little screen. But you'll be able to watch this in 1080p, full res. So that's pretty good, but wait a second, that means I'm throttling the entire house to that. That's not good. But this is a quick and dirty way of figuring out what sort of percentages we want to look at, and for this scenario, because we're going so low, we are going to make use of device prioritization. So I got an Xbox One, PlayStation 4, I would naturally set it to, well, 4% up, but no, 20% up and 4% down in my case. But here, to demonstrate it, we're going to go and use my laptop. Now, when you're adjusting the little, whatever they're called, button circle-y thingy-majiggies on this flower pedal, they're a little bit, precise and finicky, but you set it to that and make sure you untick that share excess. Now once you've done that, you click the update distribution, and now we can go and test to make sure that we're getting a similar result. Now if, like any scientist, you really need to run this a few times, more than once, really, to confirm that this is good, because when I ran this, this first thing this morning, it was still okay. The results were still okay, not as ideal, but they were still very, very reasonable. I'm still getting my 3-ish megs down, 1.5 megs up. You have to run it a couple of times at least to validate that you've got something that's good. Remember, if you watch my original buffer bloat video, you just don't do this type of testing whilst others are using the network to get the most accurate type of result. So a lot of people think, oh, he's reduced his speed so much, he's throttling so much, he's inducing lag because his millisecond ping jig is going to be so ridiculously high, he's cheating. What's the answer? Well, not really. In this particular case, you see 21 milliseconds and 12 milliseconds. I'll put some footage up where I retested it later on to show you that I had something a lot lower. So you've got to run it more than once. Right, so if you go back to the flower petal and stuff, I'm going to click reset distribution, because when you start sliding around with the little circles within the flower, don't know, shall we call them petals? I don't know what they're called. It can muck things up. So when you want to try again, just click reset distribution and then start sliding things around. So here is example, I'm setting up for the PlayStation 4, and hey presto, I've got 20%, untick the share excess on both tabs, and then click update distribution and OK, and we're ready to game on the PlayStation 4. Now you notice I've got 2 hypertraffics here. If I go over to UPnP settings, you'll see that I have 3074, which is my PlayStation 4, and 3075, which is my Xbox. So as well as adding a hypertraffic for the particular console service, i.e. PSN or Xbox Live, I also want to add the port of interest that the game of interest, in this case COD, uses. So I'm going to select my Xbox One, I'm going to select Xbox Live, so that does the basic Xbox Live services, bits and pieces of ports that it does, and then I'm going to add Xbox One again. I'm going to go to advanced and add in 3075 for UDP. And of course I selected both because I want it to go, incoming and outgoing, I want data coming in and data going out as fast as possible. Similarly, if I wanted to have Xbox on as well, I would drag the 11 that's against the Xbox One up to 20. And if I was only gaming on a PlayStation 4, just go and delete the entries that are there on the Xbox One. So that, in a nutshell, sort of wraps it up, really. It does work. I've tested this on with the optimum values that give me that 3.5 or 3 megs down and 1.5 megs up, with a still good, good millisecond response. Very, very reasonable, less than 20 on average, and it works a treat. I've tested it on Black Ops 3 and I've tested it on Call of Duty Ghosts. I had a mate of mine who's on Virgin. You guys know I'm on BT Infinity. He's on Virgin. He's got 200 megs down and like 6 megs up. And I just got a calculator out and we did some rough percentages to set it to this, set it to that, and he was beasting away too. Rather than being experiencing a classic shoot first, die first, which is, well, not fun. So I hope you guys found this video useful. I really do. So if you have a TP-Link, obviously you don't have the hypertraffic service, but you can go and adjust your upload and download speeds and make sure you're getting good buffer bloat using that DSLreports.com site. So as always, I hope you found the video informative and useful, and I really do hope you guys get to enjoy Infinite Warfare, because it's literally coming out like within 24 hours or so. So as always, I appreciate a thumbs up, and if you're new here and want to see more vids, consider hitting that subscribe button. Until next time, this has been Sim.